Hello, friends of the Diocese of Washington. Bishop Marianne here. Thank you for taking the time to watch a video presentation during which I'll review diocesan initiatives of the past year and help us to prepare for what promises to be a weekend like no other, when Presiding Bishop Michael Curry will join us on January 24th through 26th, not only for Diocesan Convention, but a series of events culminating in a diocesan-wide revival on Sunday afternoon. Now, looking back, let me first remind you that when I came back from sabbatical in the fall of 2018, wanting to lead as prayerfully and strategically as I could in the next season of ministry as your bishop, I asked you, the people of the diocese, to engage in a collective process to clarify our mission, the purpose of the diocese, a vision for the immediate future, and strategic goals to accomplish that vision. The result was a year-long journey begun at last year's convention. We called it Becoming Good Soil, taking as our guiding inspiration Jesus' parable of the kind of soil in which the seeds of life that God sows can yield abundant fruit. And over 500 people actively engaged in discovery sessions throughout the diocese. And a leadership team then crafted the first drafts of a plan for the future, and then we distilled it as best we could, refining and refining, until we came to our best sense of what God was trying to say to us. This was a journey of prayer and of faith as we sought to discern God's will, not ours, God's preferred future for the Episcopal Church, as we strive to know and follow Jesus and his way of love. And then, on October 8th, at a joint meeting of Diocesan Council and the Standing Committee, both leadership bodies unanimously approved a strategic plan for the diocese. And then Diocesan Council, with Standing Committee approval, voted to approve a funding proposal that allows us to begin the implementation process right away. Now, let me begin with our mission, our statement of purpose. The mission of the Diocese of Washington in our time, we believe, is to draw people to Jesus and embody his love for the world. We are all called as Christians to draw closer to Jesus ourselves, to know him as the source of all that we are and do, and to draw others not to ourselves, but to him. And in addition, we are the ones to embody his love for the world. As St. Teresa so beautifully reminds us, Christ has no body here but ours. Ours are the hands with which he works, ours the feet with which he moves, ours the eyes with which he sees, ours the lips with which he speaks to this world with love, compassion, forgiveness, and justice. Now, there are three arenas in which we live out this mission as a diocese to draw people to Jesus and embody his love for the world. We do this together by equipping our faith communities, promoting spiritual growth among all our people, and collectively striving for justice. Our vision for the next 5 years is to be a diocese that draws on the gifts of all God's people to serve Christ together and live Jesus' way of love. Now, there is some urgency to this vision in that we do not have sufficient capacity now to fulfill the mission that is entrusted to us. While there is good, fruitful ministry taking place across the diocese as a whole, we are not yet making measurable progress in addressing the fundamental issues of membership plateau and decline that works against every creative endeavor we attempt. And so at the center of our vision statement is the conviction that our congregations and their leaders cannot and need not address their challenges alone, nor can we accomplish our mission alone. We need one another. And so it is for each of the three arenas of diocesan ministry, equipping congregations, promoting spiritual growth, and striving for justice, we have a subset of specific collaborative goals to accomplish in the next 5 years. You can read the plan in its entirety on the diocesan website, and I encourage you to do that. But now I'd like to draw your attention to the three overarching goals we've identified, one for each diocesan arena of ministry, and then the specific goal we will work on in the first year of the plan's implementation, which we will launch at Diocesan Convention in January. Our first overarching goal is to revitalize our churches to grow the Jesus movement. The specific goal we've identified for the first year is to provide church health assessments and church revitalization strategies. And then we will work with up to 10 representative congregations in the first year that feel called to make church health and revitalization their top priority. And we will ensure that they have the support and resources they need to walk through their own strategic revitalization plan. The second overarching goal is to inspire each person to grow in faith and equip our leaders to lead well. And our first specific goal in the arena of spiritual formation for the first year is to establish a school for Christian leadership. The School for Christian Leadership is a way for us to identify and gather in one location all manner of resources for spiritual growth, Christian discipleship, episcopal identity, spiritual formation across the life cycle from children to elders. We'll also have a track for congregational leaders, vestry training, stewardship resources, staff and financial management, conflict resolution. We heard a lot of excitement for this possibility throughout the diocese, and we know that there are many people who can help us develop and lead these offerings either in person or online. We also see this as a way to collaborate in offering spiritual and leadership retreats and conferences across the diocese. The third overarching goal is to partner in ministries of service and justice for greater impact in our communities. And the specific goal for 2020 is to work within each region to identify a primary ministry of justice on which the congregations can collaborate for greater social impact. Again, this was an idea that surfaced with considerable excitement across the diocese, with many feeling that if we could only find a way to marshal our resources collectively, our capacity for greater good would surely grow. We will officially launch the strategic plan at Diocesan Convention in January. Between now and then, we're working to identify champions, those across the diocese who have passions and gifts for one of the strategic areas: congregational revitalization, the School for Christian Leadership, and collaborative justice. And from those champions, we will build our teams, led by one or more diocesan staff members whose primary responsibility will be the work of that team. Each team will identify 90-day action plans, and then we will go about the work of accomplishing those plans and setting our sights on the next 90 days. The second effort of preparation involves a restructuring of diocesan staff in order to accomplish the goals of our plan. As part of our consulting contract with the Unstuck Group, we did a full staff and structure assessment and made significant changes in job descriptions and performance metrics for each staff person. The most significant change to diocesan staff is the creation of part-time leadership positions in each region. These regional deans, compensated for roughly 10 hours a month, will work to bring regional clergy and lay leadership into regular communication so that wardens know one another, vestries and neighboring congregations might work together, justice champions will meet regularly, and congregational clergy are a support and resource to each other. Position descriptions and application forms for each regional dean position are now on the diocesan website, and our goal is to solicit names from among our most motivated leaders between now and the end of November, and we'll begin the interview process in December with the goal of commissioning the regional deans at Diocesan Convention. In addition, we're hiring a senior level staff person as canon for strategic collaboration, whose primary responsibility will be to ensure the regional implementation of strategic plan goals. In the budget and financial presentation video, you'll hear the funding strategy for the strategic plan's implementation, and I urge you to watch it and give your feedback as we refine our work in the months leading up to Diocesan Convention. But let me say a word now about Convention itself and the gift of having Presiding Bishop Curry with us for an entire weekend. It will be a Holy Spirit moment for all of us, an opportunity to be inspired and challenged, to hear from Presiding Bishop Curry and to take Jesus' message of love deep into our hearts and broadly into our communities. There will be gatherings that weekend with Presiding Bishop Curry for young adults, for students in junior high and senior high school. There will be the convention itself with the Presiding Bishop preaching. And finally, on Sunday afternoon, we have the opportunity to fill a sports arena in Southeast Washington with over 4,000 people, all yearning to hear Jesus' message, all given the opportunity to dedicate or rededicate our lives to Christ, and then go and live Jesus' way of love in our lives. I want you to be a part of that event and to begin praying now for the people God may be encouraging you to invite to join you. This is a defining moment for us. I'm so grateful to God for the privilege of serving as your bishop as we begin the implementation of our strategic plan. And I look forward to seeing the diocese gathered as one body in January.